with Canada is with our foundation program, because the programs need to be checked, the modules, the schools have to check what we teach. That's our program, and that's what's been approved. The A-level is an external program, so the answer to you will be no. Not in consideration of international education. Therefore, money is probably one or two, most important reasons for choosing to study anyway. One of the biggest advantages of Canada is that of the three major study destinations in the world, it is the least expensive. So Canadian dollars is lower than US dollars, it is lower than Australian dollars, it's lower than the Great Britain pounds. So it is, it's cheaper than any other currency. So if you're in the UK and you're paying 20,000 pounds in the school, you're potentially paying maybe only 60% of what at 20%, what at 20,000 pounds, $20,000 is in Canada. It's about 20% of what 60% of what you're paying in the US, in the UK. In terms of the US and Canada, Mark was explaining that it takes. Do you want to talk about the exchange rate?
Basically, Canada is the third country with the most oil reserves on the planet, which means that we're also affected with the oil crisis right now. You're also getting quality education, but at a discount right now. But right now, if you want basically $1 Canadian, it will cost you 76 cents US. So you're getting a 33% discount in Canada for the same high quality education.
Factors for people choosing a university are quality, safety, and I just want to talk about those two items because the quality of the Canadian system, which you may or may not know, is if you go to the American system, there's a huge divergence. So there's those universities at the top, the Harvards of the world, that are really good. There's kind of a middle road, and then there's a whole bunch of crap universities, mildly. In Canada, there isn't that. It's standardized, so it doesn't matter what university or college you go to in Canada, it's going to be that same high quality. So it doesn't matter if you want to go to Quebec or you want to go to BC or wherever you go in Canada, you know you're going to get a good education. Canadians don't worry about which university they pick because they don't base it on quality. They know whichever one they go to, it'll be good. The second thing is safety. I can honestly tell you, it doesn't matter where you go in Canada, as Andre referred to earlier, it's safe. But just as a small example, the town I live in, I have an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old. My wife and I go to work at 7 and come home at about 6, so they go to school on their own, come home on their own. And my 12-year-old kept forgetting her key. So we said, okay, don't worry about it, just don't lock the door. And that's very typical. You don't bother locking your door in your house. Nobody cares. And so when you talk about safety, it's a different level entirely. So those are the other two items I'd say, other than just cost, that's important for making a decision.
If your police will have a closing time, I agree with you.
Program, and we don't know anything about medicine or law, studying medicine or law in Canada, and I would just like to know the process and all that.
For both of them in Canada, they are post-degree programs. So that means you have to have a degree first. So if, for instance, you decide to come to Northwest and then you do a degree at UNBC, then you apply for medicine or you apply for law. Now, the one thing I would suggest to you is there is advantages if you apply to either of those programs from a regional area. So the North is considered a regional area, which is where Terrace is, because there's less applicants from that. But that still doesn't mean you're going to get in. Medicine, as an example, for UBC, University of British Columbia is the only place in British Columbia that offers medicine. For every 300, one person gets in for every 343 applicants. So it's competitive. Law is not that competitive, but it's still about 1 to 20. So for every 20 applicants, one will get in. And there you can choose to go to University of Victoria, you can choose to go to UBC, you can choose to go to SFU for law. But for medicine, if you want to stay in the province, you go to UBC only. What I would say though is if you're interested in medicine, the other option is again the partnership we have with Monash University. So you can do a degree with us and then apply to Monash. the students who go through Northwest, get a degree and apply to Monash, have so far had about a 66% success rate. So for every 3, 2 get into the medicine program at Monash. And if you look online, I believe Monash right now is ranked number 23 in the world for universities. And number 3 in the world for medicine. So that's a pretty big advantage if you want to go that route.
We cater to all sorts of needs at Westfield. And we are aware of the difficulty of getting into, think about the statistic, 1 out of every over 300 will get into medicine. So we cater to all of your potential needs, and that's why we have a pre-made foundation already, which is what I know you're doing, because I know your dad, I spoke to your dad several times. So you're fine where you are. If you choose to go to Canada for your degree, it's going to take you slightly. We discussed this already. So yes.
For her, my second son came through Westerfield. He's in St. George's now. And
hello, 1 2, mic check, 1 2, mic check, 1 2 2 2 2, mic check 2